Hey allihopa! Today we're gonna carve a little bird. One of these guys. It's quite an easy carve. A little bit fiddly in the beginning, but after some of these they will go in a very fast pace. So I have some that I have painted over here. Trying to learn how to airbrush. Because yeah, I bought one of those. Thought it was a fun thing to do. So in this video I won't be painting my bird because I'm not that good enough, so I don't want to show you right now, but in a later state I might be good enough to show even in the painting. And then I will do a video where I paint my unpainted birds and other characters. So let's begin. So we start with a block about 3 times 3 times 8 centimeters, and let's see, the front will be this side. So we start with drawing the beak where we want that. You can have it more higher up or lower down, depends on how you like it. And then we make the front, and we're gonna carve it like this, so the point here will be a beak, like so, but you only need to draw one side. And then we hold it like this to see how we want it in the back. Something like that. And then I always do make a little stand for it so it can stay upright and don't fall over. So I take about a centimeter or 8 millimeters around the whole piece, like so. And then we are going to carve the beak first, but first we need to mark the center so we know that we are carving somewhat straight. Something like that. So let's start with the beak. We're gonna do a stop cut right here and then go down. Do that cut. Something like that. And the same on the top here. Gonna do a little stop cut. You have to be quite careful so you don't break the beak. And just look so it's straight, like that. Then you're gonna take in the belly down to the beak. Something like that. You can always make the beak a little tighter, a little smaller. Something like that. And then just follow this line over here and try to make it symmetrical on both sides. It's not very hard, but sometimes you don't think about it, and then when you look at it, it looks a little bit off. So here we make a stop cut and take in the belly a bit. Something like that. We're gonna take it in more later, but as a start, this is good. Something like that. And then we want to remove the head, and that's just taking away this. And this is where the line is good, because you see it's a little bit further away from this side and this, and then I can just take that side and I can get it even. We don't need to take it all the way to the center, because we're gonna fix that later when we're taking away the sides. It's not that, so it isn't that thick. Now we're gonna take the back. And just like the front, we are following the line. So we get that curve on the back. Something like that. And you want to see so it's as much on both sides, so it's symmetrical. It's much more easy to work when you have it symmetrical. Something like that. It's a good start. And then I tend to take the lower part of the beak and make a line like so, straight out and straight out there. That is where the head is gonna be smaller and the wings are gonna be a bit wider. So if you cut from there, just remove equal parts on both sides. Something like that. You can take more if you want a smaller head, or you can take less if you want a bigger head. But I think that's quite enough for me. A little bit more in the back here, so it's straight. So something like that. Then we're gonna just round over carefully, a little bit here and a little bit there. And always check from the front to see so it's good. This one needs to go down a little bit more, like that. And then we're gonna shape the head, and then we take the edges. So take the edge off here, and then we're gonna take this edge, and always look at the markings on the top. So you take as much on both sides, and you can look from the front too. Now when we have that, we take this edge, this one, that one, and last this one. And then we can start just rounding it over by taking all the edges. And as you take one edge, it will be two more edges, and then you take those, something like this. And then we're gonna go around the whole head, just take the top, so we get rid of the cross, something like that. We can always round it more later when we're doing the final cuts or the finishing touches. I like to make a little dent above here. And then before you take anything more, you want to just clean off the beak so we don't have any saw marks. This you need to be very careful with, because the beak is a little bit fragile. It has happened more than once that I accidentally cut it off. Oh, something like that. And now we're gonna go down here to the, what do you call it, the thing it stands on, the support, and we're gonna make stop cuts a bit in. Something like that on both sides. Like so. And then you want the wings to go down like this. So this will be like a little shoulder, and we're gonna draw on this one too. It's almost as far in, just so it gets a little bit tapered. Take from above and cut it down. And above and down. Something like that. Now it's starting to look like a bird. And now we're gonna go all around here and make stop cut and remove. So we get some depths. Then we're gonna round it all off later, so just focusing on removing a bit. And then you can check like this one is straight, this one is not straight. So if we take a little bit more on this side, just to get it straight on both sides. This one will go a little bit higher, I think. It's not very important, but it makes everything much easier to carve if it's symmetrical. And then we have the head. We're gonna make from here and up here over the wing and down here. Something like that. That will be the wing and the neck. You can even make it a little bit higher, so it gets a little smaller head, something like that. And then the same on this side. I'm gonna try to make it quite symmetrical. And then on the back. The flare, this will be the tail, so we flare it out a bit, something like that. And now we're gonna make some V cuts here. You can use your V tool if you have one. I have one over here. It's very handy to have, but just to show it is possible, I will do it all with the knife, something like that. Just a little bit, not too much, because we just want to make a little difference, a little bit different from head to the body. Something like that. And then we're gonna take the wing, do the same. Just be careful and follow that line as good as you can. And I always have my glove just in case, because it's not that fun to cut yourself. And you get a quite good grip. Let's see, just score it all around. something like that. Then we're gonna work up to that line. Need to go this way. Something like that. Just take it away. We will clean it up later. And I'll always round the edges later. So this is just the rough work, so to say. Something like that. It's much easier and faster with a V-tool, but you can also do it with a knife if that's all you have. Like so. There we have the first wing. And then we're gonna take this part too, so we don't forget it. And just make a little cut this way. Something like that. And then you can just take the knife and push it out. Like so. There we have a wing, and then we're gonna take the next one. Cut it all the way up. It's always easier on one side and harder on the other, depending how the grain is working with you. Something like that. And just use the tip to go all the way up. And all the way down. And this one is gonna be painted later, so it doesn't matter so much if we get some extra lines, because they will be covered up. But if you're gonna let it be natural, so to say, then it's more important to not stick the tip in the knife too deep where you don't want it. And then we're gonna take under the head and just chamfer that a little bit so it joins this side more smoothly. Something like that. And then we have a little piece here that hasn't been carved, so take away all those saw marks. It will be more pretty. And if you take away something on this side, look on the other side, so if there is something you need to take away. And here we just chamfer the beak on the bottom a little bit, like so. It's as much as I take on the side here, I take under the beak too. And then we're gonna take the rest here. Something like that. just round it over a bit, take those hard edges off. Same on this side. We can go the whole turn around, just even out the head a bit, something like that. Need to take a bit more on this side, so it's a little bit more symmetrical, because then when you're gonna do the eyes, you really want the face to be symmetrical. Oh, something like that. So far so good. Then we're gonna remove a bit more, because I want the tail to be a little bit wider, so you can take off just the top, then turn it around and push it inward like this. And then we have a little bit more of a flared tail. Now we're gonna chamfer this one, round it over a bit. Oops, wrong way. Feels like sometimes the wood is changing the grain direction in the middle of the piece, like there somewhere. But then we adapt. Something like that. And then the other side. Just remove and change direction. Because we want the changes from the wings to the back to be a little bit subtle. That's very noticeable. We want some soft changes in the body. Then we have uncut wood. Oh, almost forgot this side. We need to take the wing down here too. Like so, and just remove it. Now we're gonna remove just the outer layer, so we get rid of all the saw marks. Something like that. Then we can round over the wing a bit, the front too. And soften this shoulder. Then the same on this side. Soften the shoulder a bit. Just see so it's symmetrical. A little more off on this side. Something like that. And then we have this wing left to remove. Just the outer layer. Where does it change? Over here. And then that way. something like that, and round it over. Just take a little bit off. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit squared, but as long as it's not too squared. And then you take the belly, because we removed a bit here, but we want to remove more. We want it to go in here. So you take the height we want and just cut it off. Something like that. And we can always check, is that enough? I think it's about enough. And then round it. Take a little bit more maybe. Just so we can round. Yeah, that's good. And then take the edges and then round it over. Oop. I'm gonna try to stay in picture, but it's not always easy when you try to focus on carving and filming the video at the same time. And this one will be rounded over too. Something like that. And then we need to round these edges too. And up to the head. And now that all that is left is just to take away all the fuzzy parts and try to make it a little bit rounder. Like so. You can actually take a little bit more on the tail here, so it gets a little bit higher. Just to clean up everything here. And then we can do a little bit of a bowl shape here, just carefully to divide it a little bit. Something like that. And then you can always take the knife, but it's easier with the V tool and just make little details like this over here. Careful so you don't destroy it, like I almost did there. Just pull those up a little bit to make some little ones there. Something like that gives a little bit more life to it. So what are we going to do now? We're gonna, the eyes, if you look at the bird, they are a little bit, what do you say, concave in here. So So you're just gonna take the knife on the top of the beak and just remove a little bit here, then top of the beak, and a little bit there. A little bit more maybe. And just even it out. So you don't have any sharp edges. It's easier to make the eyes too if you have a rough estimation of where they are going to go. Something like that. I think this one is gonna go down a little bit here. Something like that. Then we want to make the beak a little bit more protruding. Then you take just the edges a little bit to chamfer the beak on the top. Carefully. Then just remove that little harsh. That can flow into the eye socket. Something like that. Just take a little bit over there. Like so. There we have him. And now you can make how many details you want, but I'm gonna make on this one, I'm gonna take from the beak over here, because I got a natural divide over here. So I'm gonna get it up and down over here. Something like that. And I'm gonna try to make the same on this side. Let's see, easier to view from the top maybe. Like so, a little bit down. Doesn't need to be perfect. I mean, how many birds do you see out there that is perfect? Something like that. Then you can take a knife and just make a little V-cut alongside that line. Very careful when you come to the top. The grain change direction. Doesn't need to be much. It just needs to be a little cut, because it's just a little detail. And you just remove this part. A bit harder when it turns, so we need to go this way. Something like that. Now you have a little detail over here. Like so, and then we take just away with the markings of the pencil. See which way does it want me to cut. This way, and then I believe I might manage here. I thought the grain was going to turn on me, but it worked out quite well. Now we have a little detail. We can do the same on this one, this side. Just carefully, just the tip. And I'm always holding the knife very steady with this hand, and I just push with the thumb a little bit like this, so it won't slip, because you really don't want it to slip in that position. It can be quite nasty. And remove turn it around and remove the other side. If you use a V-tool, it's just like and it's gone. But we're gonna make it with a knife today. See, this is the wrong direction, but it might work. Yeah, I think it works. Oop, didn't cut deep enough. Something like that. It's a little bit off. This will need to go a bit more down. Something like that. And remove. And chamfer that edge. Don't want any sharp edges. Something like that. Now we have a little detail on the head. Now we're gonna do the eyes, and they will be, I like to make them quite big, at least to start with, and then you can remove later, but I have a really hard time to make them exactly in the same place, but I think that will do. And I'm gonna make a very, very shallow cut. We need to turn and go this way. See, so I don't get out of frame. Something like that, and just remove around. They don't need to be sticking out that much, they just need to be there, or else the bird will be blind. Like so, and then round the eye. When I do this off camera, I always use the V-tool, because it's way more easier. But it's good to know how to do it with a knife too, because you don't always have a V-tool. Sometimes when you're out and about, you just have a knife. So, something like that. And then the other side. Very carefully, pushing with my thumb. Guiding it. Just around. Like so. And remove around. This is quite fiddly because the grain direction is changing half the way, and you need to be prepared to where. Like here, it changes over there. I need to clean that up. Like so, and then round the eye. Carefully, which way do you want me? There. And this part. Oh, something like that. Just clean up the edges down here so we don't have any fuzzy parts. And then just remove the harsh part over here so it goes down like that, and same on this side. Like so. And there we have a little bird. Just gonna take this little stand. You can design however you like. I just tend to cut off the edges like this, then go and chamfer it like this. Like that, and then just remove all surfaces that are not cleaned. Just like this, and last piece like so. And I always do the underside too, for some reason. I think it's prettier when it stands on a table or something, if you have a little bit chamfer underneath. And that's how you make a little bird. Always sign it. Like that. And he is done. Now he just need to be painted, and then he's ready. I always try to paint it in the same video, but this time I won't be doing that because I'm trying to learn how to airbrush. So when I'm better at it, I might show you. But I always take some linseed oil and let him soak for a little bit, and when he's dry, the color will attach more evenly. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and consider subscribing if you want to see more whittling or wood carving or some spoon carving maybe. Have a nice day.